All right, let's talk about two topics that are interesting: death and the flow state. If I can keep it short enough, I'll cover both. Do you ever wonder why people are so scared of death? Like, why is it a taboo subject? Like, I wondered that as a kid. I would look around at adults and wonder, why are they so scared of everything? They seem like they can't talk about anything. Kids are just open and free flowing, and man, sometimes they get scared, sometimes they're happy, their emotions come and go. They're open, they're fearless. My 5 year old already knows about death because she asked me and we had a good talk about it. And she wasn't even freaking out, she was curious. So, um, I want to talk about this because something just happened that actually is also related to flow. So, I'm just in flow all the time now, and things just happen as they should. It's just, at first, it was awesome, and now I'm just used to it. So, I took all the apps off my phone. I am not on my phone anymore because it was just wasting my time. So, I get home and I check Instagram and YouTube for messages and comments. So I got home, I check. Today I got home, opened Instagram, and usually I see the first post, and then I'll just go to messages and notifications. So the first post was someone I don't follow. It was just some random girl, and she had a little bit of, she's talking about she has brain tumors. And you can kind of see it on her face, and like her speech is a little different. Like it was very obvious she was telling the truth. And she started talking about death and how when you are faced with your own mortality, like she is every time she goes in for a brain scan or an MRI, or like she never knows what's going to happen. You know, she's had surgery multiple times. And every time that happens, it could be her last moment. It could be her last day. It could be she is faced with the reality of death every moment. And then she relates that to little grievances like somebody cutting you off in traffic or having to wait in line at the grocery store, and just how much that stuff doesn't matter. And I was listening to her and I realized, oh, I also have death at the forefront of my mind every second of every day, but I wasn't even aware until she started talking. And that happens a lot to me. You awaken, you have this internal shift that's so massive, that's so complete that you don't even really know what happened. And I'm, 6 months later still figuring out what's happening. And so sometimes watching a video like that, it reminds me or brings into focus something that a new way that I live every day that I wasn't even aware of. So oftentimes, well, I think for most people, they don't think about death. They don't contemplate it. It's so far from their mind that when you bring it up, it scares them because ego cannot think about death because it makes everything about ego absolutely pointless. All the beliefs, all the meaning, all the things that are strung together to make your life seem like it's an individual life. Death makes it all pointless. It eradicates all of it. So ego can't look at it. Now, when you have an ego death or you awaken, I didn't realize this until watching this video, but I think this is exactly what happens. You face it. You face death. It's behind you. You're not looking at it. You finally turn around, look it in the face, give it a hug, and then it becomes constantly in front of you. Now, I don't go around thinking about death all day in like a morbid way, but I realize it's always there, and it actually changes everything that I do and say. Like every time I leave my house, or I say bye to my kids, or I get in my car to drive to work, I am very aware I could die in a car wreck. I could have a stroke. I could have a heart attack. I could get shot. I could in any way. And maybe that's weird to say that out loud like it used to be for me. I don't care anymore. It's not morbid. Actually having the idea in mind, or having that like low level back burner feeling, it's always there, but I'm not always thinking about it. It makes every moment of my life beautiful because I don't take moments for granted. If my kids give me a hug while I'm leaving the house and they hold on, I'm holding on. It might be the last time I hug them. I don't know. I'm not granted a long life. Now, it might happen, but it might not. Now, when we're scared of it, when we don't look at it and we put it behind us, we just live as if we're never going to die, and then we never live because we're just ignoring all the little tiny moments that are rich and beautiful and deep and could be your last. But nobody wants to talk about it for some reason. It's weird. You ever notice how weird that is? Even as a kid, I noticed. I just thought, man, adults are strange. I don't understand. Now, how I came home, checked Instagram. That was the first and only post that I saw. And then right after that, I was like, I don't want to do a video right now. I'll just watch a show, kill some time before bed. And I turned on the show, and the very first few sentences were two people talking about death back and forth. One was accepting it, one was struggling. And I thought, okay, here's the flow thing again. Just back to back. And I was already thinking about doing a video about it. So here I am. It seems to just go in line with the process of awakening. Everything that you ignore, or that we're scared to think about or talk about or feel, all of it comes to the forefront. And that's why everything gets worse at first before it changes. I won't say it gets better because you kind of leave duality behind and there is no better or worse. But if I could reverse and remember, it seemed like everything was getting worse for me at first. And then I faced everything head on, feeling like I was definitely going to die and not live past that moment. But I did. And on the other side of that moment, there was no good or bad, up and down, left and right. Everything just was what it was. And that's also when I noticed, but I wasn't really aware for a couple of months of, I snapped into flow. So the flow state is interesting. It's when, I don't know how you would define it exactly, but I've heard it described as doing a task so perfectly well or being so internally focused that everything else disappears and only what is happening is what exists for the person, and it becomes effortless. And I've heard a lot of professional athletes and people that do really extreme sports get to this place, but it's like, it takes a lot to get there, or just hours and hours and years of practice and perfection or awakening. Because listening to people describe that state and trying to gauge how I live now, I don't think I tap into flow. I think I just live in it. So another example, this happens to me all the time. This is like normal now. I went to a coffee shop a couple days ago. Time is weird. Went to a coffee shop in the morning. I brought a book and a journal because I don't know what was going to happen. I sat down, I read a page, wasn't into it, so I opened the journal. And I thought, all right, I don't have much to look at, but, I have a couple habits left. I have one that's kind of sticky, and I thought, all right, let's finally dig into this. Let's see where this goes, why I still have this habit. So I started journaling about it, digging in, finding the truth, and, it got really far in there, deeper than I could ever go if I was ego-identified, because you can't face this stuff. It's so dark, it's so deep, it's so intense. A lot of people can't face it. I couldn't until I was able to step back, and now it's like I'm watching someone else. It's hard to explain. It doesn't affect me the same. It's just I don't care that it's super dark and crazy. So I'm digging down, and I didn't feel like I was at the bottom of what was causing this habit, and I got stuck. So I stopped. And I'm just sitting there, not thinking, not doing anything, just silent. And the lyric in the song playing at the coffee shop gave a very clear, perfect direction on where I was supposed to go next in my journaling process. And I wasn't even surprised. I heard, like, I got quiet, I heard it, and I thought, oh, that's it. So I kept journaling using the song lyric that just randomly happened. And finished a whole nother page after that. It was the thing that kept it going for me. So I got to the bottom of it. I think I probably won't have that habit anymore. I'm waiting to see if it comes back. But I think I dug it out. I think I got to the bottom of it. And I felt like, okay, that's it. That's the end. And a theme in part of the habit was me being uncomfortable feeling alone. So it was accepting the feeling or being comfortable with that feeling of just being alone. Just so happens, when I get to the end, I lean back, I feel like I'm finished. I look up at the front door, and there comes my ex-wife with my 3 kids. The odds are pretty slim. I mean, it's a big city. There's a lot of coffee shops. She didn't know I was there. But it's, of course that would happen. I wasn't even surprised. They see me, they freak out. I go hug them all. We all hang out for like 20 minutes, and then, I help load them in the van, and they take off to their next thing they're doing. And it's just crazy. And yeah. And like the timing of them leaving, I ended up staying there like an extra 10 minutes, and then I had to go meet a friend for a hike, and then I got there like the exact minute I was supposed to be there, and everything about the hike was smooth, and it's just a constant flow state all the time. And I'm never rushing, I'm never trying to get somewhere, I'm never trying to do something. And I mentioned both these in one video because it seems like they're connected. It seems like if you're always running away from yourself, your feelings, your own mortality, and you're resisting and you're scared, that you can't get into or live in the flow state because it's a completely relaxed, at ease, no obstructions. I'm not resisting life. It is happening. I am in it. So there is no good or bad. Whatever happens just happens. Now, the flow isn't always super positive. It could be also, something that somebody would call negative or bad, or, someone saying, "Oh, I just had the worst day." I don't understand that, but I kind of get it. But if I have a bad day, it's in a flow state, and I'm very aware of my own mortality the whole time, so it's not bad. I know everything that's supposed to happen is happening. And if I'm not resisting any of it, everything goes perfectly according to plan. Now, the plan's not mine. That's the trick. I have given up and surrendered to whatever it is that has a perfect plan. But when you step out of it and stop trying to control things or resist things, or you move all of your own obstructions out of the way and you are just floating through life, you start to see how effortless it is, how easy it is, and how any one of these perfect, beautiful moments could be my last. And that's what makes them so beautiful. I've said in other videos that everything's meaningless, so people might be confused. I didn't say they had meaning. I just said they were beautiful. There's a difference. Now, I enjoy life. I do. Sometimes I get into a funk and I just think, what the heck is the point in all this? And I don't really have an answer for that, to be honest. But I enjoy it. Another goofy example of flow. I work with a guy from Honduras, so naturally he speaks Spanish. He's slowly learned English really well, actually, but he still has an accent. We all make fun of him all the time because we're in a blue-collar job. We all give each other crap all day long. And on Fridays, he likes to blast his style of music. I don't know what they're saying, but I love it. And the beat is so good. And so we got like so much speakers in the shop that it's just obnoxious. It could blow your face off. And he had so loud, he was playing this bachata style kind of, the beat is so good, you just got to move your hips. And I walk in, well, I kind of dance walk into the shop from the paint shop. It's like two separate buildings. And he's already moving, he's just grooving. He's in the zone. He's hardly working. And another guy sees him grooving, and then I'm kind of dance walking in. And so he starts to dance walk in, and we're all kind of walking towards each other. We end up in a circle. Everybody somehow got in sync, and we're all doing this little jig, and we're moving our hips back and forth. If anybody saw that, they would think, what is wrong with these freaks? It was just one of those moments where everybody was so in the zone, enjoying themselves, that nothing else mattered in that moment. That was it. That was 3 guys in a body shop shaking their hips very well to the beat, in sync. Dumb stuff like that happens all the time. We didn't even say anything, and then we all just went our separate ways and went back to work, and nothing was even said. It was just a weird, funny moment. Man. Why? No resistance. There's music playing. I felt like moving. So did those guys. Stuff like that just happens all the time. It's enjoyable. It's hilarious. Now, I can get on here and share all the good stuff, but I will also say that it's hard to explain this, because like I don't see bad or negative anymore, but there are moments where normal people would say, well, that's not good. But in those moments, I'm also in a different way, maybe not enjoying it, but accepting it and flowing with it and knowing that this is exactly the same as my little dance moment with my coworkers. Like me at home crying is the same as dancing at work. Like there's no difference. Every moment is equally beautiful when you're not resisting it. It might not be comfortable, and it might not mean anything, but it's very nice. So to end this, yeah, death is not something that I purposefully tried to put in front of me or think about all the time, but after I faced it and accepted it, it is in front of me all the time. Now it leads my life instead of being hidden behind my life, causing all sorts of problems. He's out in the open and there's no problems now. And the flow state is not something I have to ever tap into. I just live in it. My guess is they're connected. And that's all I have to share about that. Thanks for watching.